morning to everyone. Welcome to our English class. Before we begin our discussion, may I request everyone to please stand for the opening prayer. Now take your seats. This time, Alger, the class secretary. Is there anybody absent today?
Sir, no one is absent today.
My dear students, before we begin our new lesson for today, let's have a review of what you have learned yesterday. Is there anybody here who can recapitulate what is literature?
Literature is defined as books and other written works, especially those considered to have creative or artistic merit or lasting value.
This time, let's have activity. Are you excited? Alright, this activity is called as Don't Like Struggle. So before we start, may I request everyone to listen carefully for the directions. Your task is to discover the similarities and connections of the pictures to each other in every slide. Afterwards, look at the jumbled letters on the side of the pictures. Then, arrange them to name the cause of struggle faced by the characters. So are you excited? Alright, let's begin.
So my dear students, what do you think is the cause of the struggle faced by the characters on the picture? You got it, it is animal. Next slide, we have this. What do you think is the cause of the struggle? You got it, it's from supernatural. Next slide, we have this. You are correct, the answer is man. Moving forward, we have this. The correct answer is technology. What about this one? You are absolutely correct, nature. Next slide, we have this. And the correct answer is society. Now, my dear students, what do you think is our topic? Today, we will talk about literary conflicts.
This time, allow me to present to you the learning objectives of our lesson for today. At the end of the lesson, the student should be able to identify the kinds of conflict in the story, differentiate the types of external conflict and internal conflict, and compose a situational example for every type of conflict. Okay, so now let's get started. What is conflict? In a story, conflict is a struggle between opposing forces. Did you know that there are two types of conflict? External conflict and internal conflict. This time, let's get to know first external conflict. When we talk about external conflict, it takes place outside the body of the characters. Now, my dear students, in order for you to better understand what is external conflict, let's get to know the 6 types of external conflict. To begin with, man versus man. The struggle is between 2 or more characters in the story. They are fighting to each other physically. Second, man versus nature. This type of conflict features a story's main character or characters against a natural force, like flood and different natural calamities such as volcanic eruption, earthquake, tsunami, and the like. Third, man versus society. In many stories, the protagonist battles against element of government or culture. Fourth, man versus supernatural. It is a battle between man and creature with supernatural power. Fifth, man versus animal. In real life situation, it is a dilemma between human and wild animal. Lastly, number 6, man versus technology. It is a struggle caused by machine and gadgets. Alright, so now class, we're done with the types of external conflict. This time, let's talk about internal conflict. What is internal conflict? Internal conflict takes place inside the body and mind. So, we have only one type of internal conflict, and that is what we call man versus self. So, what is man versus self? Okay, so my dear students, when we talk about man versus self, the struggle or opposition is within one character, making a tough decision. For example, a character is struggling to overcome fear, addiction, emotional damage, or other crippling personal issue. At this point, my dear students, let's check your comprehension about our lesson. Are you excited for our next task? Alright, so let's begin. By the way, this is the direction. Decide what type of conflict is being illustrated in the following text. I don't care who you talk to, screams Sarah to Romeo. I just wish I had never met you.
So what type of conflict is that? Man versus? The answer is man versus man.
If she had only proceeded more slowly, if she had only taken the southerly route, avoiding the ice beach, if only the watch had a pair of binoculars. Here's a story about the Titanic.
What is the type of conflict? You are correct. Man versus nature.
Charles decided to break all the rules the day he decided to steal the car. He was immediately arrested and sent to jail to await his trial. He should have known better than to mess with the rules. It is man versus
society. You're correct.
Tom found a dry spot to sit down in the dark and began to feel guilty over an argument he had had earlier in the day with his mother, in which he had said, "I hope I never see you again.
That is man versus self.
Up next, Harry Potter is fighting against the witch. What conflict is that?
You got it. It's man versus supernatural.
Mr. Batterson tried to destroy the computer when it froze and lost his project.
The correct answer is man versus technology.
I am so glad, my dear students, that you're doing great.
At this point, let us sum up the essential ideas of our topic, literary conflicts. Basically, we can define conflict as a struggle between opposing forces, two characters, a character and nature, or even an internal struggle. There are two categories of literary conflicts, external and internal. An external conflict is one in which the character faces a challenge with an external forces, such as man, nature, society, supernatural creature, animal, and technology. While internal conflict tends to be one in which the main character struggles with himself, such as a decision he needs to make, or a weakness he has to overcome. Always remember, there is only one type of internal conflict. It is man versus self.
Alright, my dear students, at this point, since we are done discussing our lesson, let us now proceed to the evaluation of your learning. Please bring out one whole sheet of paper and do this activity. Alright, my dear students, time is up. Please pass your papers to the person in front of you. At the count of 10, all your papers must be submitted to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so everyone, please sit properly. For your assignment, read the Korean folktale, The Woodcutter and the Tiger. Then, identify the conflicts experienced by the main character in the story. Write your answers in a 1/2 crosswise sheet of paper. Alright, so my dear students, before we end our class, do you have any question? So if you don't have any question, thank you so much. Let's call it a day and see you tomorrow.